cannabis. On Gavel to Gavel, we see state employees there in Juneau lobbying for their programs, their agencies, and their division. We urge you to act in the long-term interest of the state, reduce the size of government, make the cuts necessary to get government to a sustainable level. I know it's hard. I've had to hire a lot of people and I've had to fire a lot of people. But at the end of the day, you are a lot wiser than if you go along with everybody else. Thank you.
Miller, Tammy Miller, followed by Caleb Saunders.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, Representative Carl Gatto was ahead of his time. He was afraid of Sharia law when he was in this House. And the gentleman ahead that brought it up brought a very good question up. We will be inundated, but that's not really why I'm here. I agree with him. I'm here to say, don't give one state dollar more than the feds give for any of the programs. The grants that the state gives out should be cut 50% with the knowledge that next year they disappear. The third thing, you also need to remember, instead of taking an income tax from the working, you take something from the permanent fund. That way every single person in the state will then become cognizant of what is happening. And the last thing you need to do is you need to make sure, a new bill, you take the minimum wage times the number of hours that a person works at a minimum wage, you take $1 off that minimum wage, and you figure out that's the amount that every person on welfare gets, total. That includes aid to dependent children, health, aid to housing, welfare, every other program they can think of. But they don't get any more than a person who is working at minimum wage. They have to learn to live within a budget. And when I go to the grocery store and I see a lady with fingers and toenails already pedicured and manicured in a $100 pair of jeans with a fur on her coat, she's paying with an e-by-T card, I follow her out and she's in a new Cadillac. That's wrong. Thank you.
Caleb Saunders, followed by George Rauscher.
I'm Caleb Saunders, live in Wasilla. As far as that, just real quick on that e-cigarettes, I'm also somebody that's been able to get off of nicotine fully. I don't even use my e-cigarette any longer. But I know one of the reasons why I was up here is the House Bill 75. Alaska voted to be able to have the whole state have access to cannabis, and that's going to hurt some of those smaller ones that thought that they were already opted in, and they have no way to opt in under the way it's going to be with the House Bill 75. I just, in Colorado, cannabis was able to do equal or more taxes than what alcohol does for the state. And that's $40 million what alcohol does for the state in taxes every year. So give us a chance, give the community that voted for this a chance to see those tax revenues of $40 million or more, including the jobs that it'll provide. Personally, I worked in the oil field for the last 6 years before I decided to get into the cannabis industry, and my friends, my brother who still works there, a lot of them losing their jobs. I personally was somebody who was going to lose my job. Good timing for me to be able to have a business that I was starting anyways. But it is somewhere that we can find jobs, see taxes, something that can bring benefit in a time when we're seeing hardship. Thank you.
Thank you, Caleb. George Rauscher, followed by Vicki Wallner.
I want to say thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity to talk to you. My name is George Rauscher, and I'm here representing the community of Sutton's area up there in the coal mines right now. We have a committee which has been established by the Sutton Community Council to deal with the area that's in It's turned into a recreation area. It's an abandoned mine area mostly. There's a lot of mines that do exist there still. It's a combination of state ground, mental health trust land, mining areas, private properties that are surrounding it. And of course, there's a lot of traffic from the Jim Creek area that traveled over there. And they're shooting. I wrote a letter to Senator Dunleavy and our representative, Jim Culver. Senator Dunleavy came out, he looked at the area for a couple, 3 or 4 hours. He gave us some recommendations. We started a petition from the community to show our interest. We sent it to our representatives in Juneau with a young lad who had a school project up there. He took that on as an interest there. Well, the community had a community council meeting last night, and our representative, Jim Culver, sent an aide there to say that he was working on legislation with the commissioner for that area. But the petition that we sent, and I'm going to read it, and it says that we, the undersigned, petition the state of